Alright, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This is Amanda with Eclectic Scribbles, and today I'm back to you with a brand new video. Today is going to be a pen test review and swatch page for these Staedtler 72 double-end fiber-tipped markers. Now, I got these from Michaels. They are listed for $49.99 at Michaels. You can use your 40% off or whatever coupon that you have at Michaels to get them. I'm also looking up online, and I am seeing that you can purchase them cheaper at places like Target has them listed at $29.49, and you can find it, although not eligible for Prime, for about $17 in some cases over on Amazon. So there are cheaper options if you don't want to purchase this from Michaels with that kind of markup. So first things first, there's not a whole lot of information about these markers except for what is included sort of on the package. It's not listed on Staedtler's website, but it does give a little bit of information on Michael's website, a little bit of information on Amazon and things like that. But I'm going to read you what it says on the back here. That they are double-ended fiber tip markers, the quality fiber tip markers with stable pressure resistant tips, suitable for sketching, drawing, illustration, writing, and coloring, coming in 72 brilliant colors, is an intense dye-based ink that washes easily out of most textiles, and you have 2 tips for maximum versatility and rich color application. It comes with this 3mm sort of almost crayon looking, maybe Crayola type tip on one end, and you've got this very thin version in a 0.5 to 0.8 millimeter tip on the other side. Okay, so these are not water based. I don't know if they're supposed to be water resistant once they're dry. I did not see anything on any of the sites about that, but we will give them a try. It says it washes out of most textiles. I don't think that means it will be water resistant down on paper even when it dries. For those of you who watched my live on Sunday or were part of the live plan with me, you'll know that we went ahead and tested it a couple of times on the paper before using these markers in the actual setup of the week. So this is definitely dry. They are quick drying. They do not bleed through even if you have a heavy hand and sort of put a lot of ink down. I'm going to go in here. I've got this one here available, so I'm going to scribble it in again so you can see what I'm talking about. So I'm putting down a fair amount of ink. They are really smooth to write with, and the nibs are nice and wet, so you don't get any kind of roughness. I think I'm writing blue again, even though this may be a purple technically. You're not going to find the list of colors anywhere either that I have seen so far. So I am just going to take them out of the box as they are and do the swatch that way. So that is the thin tip, this is the thick tip, and there's very little ghosting. Again, I have my studio lights here on, so you can see that a little bit better than you probably would see it under normal light, but absolutely no bleed through. So they are really nice pens. All right, but what we're gonna do is I'm gonna jump in here to the actual pen test. I'm going to swatch all 72 colors out here, do a little header page over here, and I will be back at the end to give you my overall feel of the markers themselves and a general review on them before closing out the video. So I will be right back. Alright everybody, this is all 72 colors. I did a swatch with the thicker bullet nib and then the thinner tip. I did 2 strokes of each one in to see if I could get the line variation that it was talking about, and I can. The tips themselves are very firm as stated. You can get it to give a little bit, but it's not a brush nib or anything on the smaller end, and the thicker nib is just as firm as the thin side. So the colors are very saturated. There's a wide variety of colors. You've got cool colors, you've got warm colors. There's a nice mix between the greens and the blues, the purples and the reds. It doesn't seem to favor one sort of marker color over the other, where that can be an issue with some packages of pens where there's all kinds of purples and no blues, or no reds and no oranges. This has a good mix of everything. It's got some really nice earth tones, it's got some nice browns, it's got grays. These over here are the silver and gold here. They don't have any kind of noticeable really difference once you get them down on paper. They might look a smidge more metallic than the flat colors, but not too much. There's really no difference. So I did this with the gray really quickly and this with the silver really quickly, and there's really not a noticeable difference no matter how you turn the page. Once the ink is down on this, it's pretty much dry. It's it feels very saturated, but the ink sort of sits on top of the page rather than soaking through. So you can see that in none of the spots here did it bleed at all through the paper, and you really can't see the ghosting at all through this paper. And I use the Scribbles That Matter journal. This would be the same, I'm sure, for a Leuchtturm or anything of quality paper, and it probably won't really bleed through much of anything. Let's see if I have a spare piece of paper laying around here. Here is a scrap page that I use to put in between pages. I think it's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of just 28 to 32 pound copy paper that you can get from any store, and it's not going to come through anywhere on that either. So the ink is going to, the dye ink is going to sit on top of the page, and you're not really going to have to worry about bleed through in any sort of journal. Alright, so these are all 72 of the colors. I worked a little bit of water into the tips around here. Once the color is down, it is down though. There's no real blending options. However, the gradation of the actual colors themselves would let you add sort of a shadow with just marker. It's just not going to give you that great, very gradiated look. I mean, you could combine 3 colors to sort of get that kind of thing. You've got that kind of option working with some of these colors, but otherwise they're not really going to blend together. I did that here as well. You can see that the only place that this bled through is where I was playing with the water brush pen. So that is the only reason that this came through in a couple of places. The same thing goes for here. I tried to blend them together a little bit, didn't really work. The water bled through eventually. And then right here I did sort of a smudge test, so you can see how that works. Once it's down, it's down. And you can even see where the ink itself sort of builds up and sits at the end of this streak. Not even that bled through the actual paper. So even though it looks like it could possibly bleed or smudge, anything like that, it's not going to. So that is down once it hits the paper. Another reason why they won't really lend themselves to blending. But other than that, the caps go on really nice and securely. I don't have any complaints about that. The tops fit on either end as you're working very securely, so that works out as well. Like I said, the pen nibs are very firm. You can get the thin and thick strokes out of the thin nibs. So let's go as light as I can write, and then you can really push down on this nib, and it's supposed to be pretty resistant, so you can get a varied line weight with that, and again, nothing's coming through there. So honestly, I don't know if I could recommend paying $50 at Michael's when you can find it for $30 at some place like Target or something like that. So other than that price point, I actually really recommend this set of markers. I can't say that I would keep them in this case for anything, because the plastic itself is fairly cheap and you're not going to get very far with this. So I would probably put them in something else. It doesn't really lend you to being able to pull them out and access them all easily. They're all on different sort of layers here in between, so you can't see from the front what's going on in the back 2 rows. But other than putting them in a different case, I really actually like the markers themselves. They're really nice. The colors, like I said, they're all super saturated. They're really nice colors. You've got a nice range. So other than the $50 price point at Michael's, which seems a little high to me, the pens are really worth the cost, especially at a $30 price point somewhere around Target. So don't forget, if you do need to go to Michael's to shop for this, to use your coupon for your 40% off, or maybe you can catch a coupon that will give you a little bit larger percentage off. But I will link these that I found on Amazon for like $17 down below as well, so that you could check that out. I will put the link to Target down there, and that is going to wrap up the video today. So I hope you enjoyed this pen test video. I hope that you found it helpful. If you have any other questions regarding these markers, you can put them down in the comments and I will answer those. And if you have another set of pens that you would like to see tested here on the channel, leave those down in the comments below as well. So I'm going to wrap this up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that little notifications bell so that you are informed each and every time I upload new content. Give this video a big thumbs up if you found it at all helpful. Like I said, that really helps the channel. And until next time, everyone, happy journaling and goodbye.